You've already learned a bunch of HTML tags, but do you know what HTML actually means? Well, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. You know what a markup language is now. It's a way of using tags to mark up content. But what does hypertext mean? It's actually a phrase that was invented before the internet even existed, in the 1960s, to mean text that's connected to other text that the reader can immediately jump to. Tim Berners-Lee invented HTML and other ingredients of the internet, like HTTP, to be a way to connect text to other texts located anywhere in the world. How do we connect web pages to other web pages in hypertext markup language? With a hyperlink, of course, which we usually just call a link now. How do we make a link in HTML? This is where it gets weird. You might think that we'd use a link tag, but actually that's used for a different sort of link in HTML. Instead, we use the A tag, where the A stands for anchor. It's anchoring the link in the page at a certain location and connecting that anchor to a different web page. To make a link, we have to write the tag, but we also have to decide on the text of the link and then the address that the link goes to. Let's make this link to a page with more information about the birth of the web. So the text of the link will go inside the start and the end tag. So I'll stick my cursor in here and write, read more about the history of HTML. Okay, so now we can see that text looks like a link, but it's not going anywhere yet. We need to add an address. We don't actually want the address to show up on the page, but we still need the browser to know what it is. So we put it inside an attribute on the A tag. And that's the href attribute. What does href stand for? I will give you a hint. You have seen that H a lot. It stands for hyper reference. Now I'll paste in the address, which we also call a URL. Do you notice how this URL starts with HTTP? Guess what that H stands for? Hyper. HTML is all about the hyper. This URL specifies everything the browser needs to know to find the web page, the protocol to use for finding it, the domain it's on, and the path that it's located in on the server. Since it specifies everything, we call this an absolute URL. On some web pages, you might see URLs that start with just / in the path. That tells the browser to stay on the current domain and just look for a different path on that domain. That's called a relative URL. We use them all over Khan Academy when we link between our content. You should stick to absolute URLs in the web pages that you make here to stay on the safe side. We can also tell the browser where to open the page, the current window or a new window. To tell the browser to open the link in a new window, we'll add another attribute, target. Target equals this word _ blank. Now, I want you to pause this talk through and try clicking the link. Go ahead. I'll wait. Clicky, clicky, clicky. What happened? You probably saw a warning about the link being from a user-generated web page, and then if you clicked OK, the link opened up. That's because we treat links a little special on the web pages made here, because we don't want users thinking that links are specially endorsed by Khan Academy and then landing on a scary, unexpected website. So every link that you make here will have that warning, and every link will pop up in a new window. That means that I could actually delete this target attribute since it's getting set behind the scenes too. Or I could leave it in case I want to move this HTML off of Khan Academy one day and make sure that link still opens in a new window. When should you use target? Generally, if a link is going to another page on the same domain, it should open in the same window. And if it's going to a page on another domain, it should open a new window. Okay, enough of that blabbing. Let me show you something else neat about links. We can link more than just text. We can also link images or text and images. Here, we have this image, which is this picture of Tim Berners-Lee. So I'm going to actually cut it and paste it so it's inside this link here. Oh, sweet. Now, if I mouse over this image, I'll see my cursor change to a pointer, and clicking it will go to the CERN webpage. In fact, you could link your entire web page and make it a big blue underlined blob. But please don't do that. Link with love, my friends. Links are a great way of connecting one web page to another web page, but they can also connect one part of a web page to another part of that same web page, especially on really long web pages, like for a table of contents. I've now added a bunch more information to this page so that I could give you a history of the web and a history of HTML versions, and I think it's enough content that it deserves a table of contents. And I've started one up here, just an unordered list with list items with each of the section titles. And I want to link each of these section titles so you can click them and just go to that part of the page. To do that, I once again use the A tag. So I'll start by just wrapping this title in start and end tags for A. Now, what should go as the href of this link? Well, we need to somehow tell the browser where to jump to in the web page, some way of uniquely identifying that part of the page. If you've learned CSS selectors already, you've actually seen how to do this, in fact. We can do it by adding an ID attribute to a tag. Let's scroll down and find the heading here. And we'll add an ID attribute to this heading. So I'm going to put my cursor in H2, type ID equals, and come up with a good identifier that's unique, like web-history. Okay, let's scroll back up to the link. And now, in order to tell the browser to go to this internal link, we need to start with a hash sign and then type exactly the ID like we typed it below. Okay, so now pause this talk through and try clicking the link. Go on, I will wait. Clicky, 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 clicky. Okay, did you see it scroll down to the section? Then it worked. We can add more links like that by putting ID attributes on every heading and making A tags that point at them, but I'll leave that for you to try. The big thing to remember is that the IDs must be unique because otherwise the browser won't know where to jump to. So make them nice and descriptive.